so I just want to say that we are in the theater. This is where I
horizontal?
have all of the seminars for Get Your Fire Back and anything that I teach.
That'll work.
We do corporate training in here.
Better to go the other way, though. You remember where we had
Todd
it earlier
is yelling
today?
in the back.
That's where I had it earlier, just like that.
He's yelling because he's still
weird
back there trying to figure things out.
That's working now. You're good now.
This is going to be a test for us.
It locked off
so
perfect.
that we make sure we have everything in place for when we start doing live interviews.
Hey, never mind.
That's right. So we have our friend Henry Cutrona, who's sitting in. I can hear all of it. Yep.
So Henry, if you look up over your left shoulder.
So once we get that figured out, you guys are just kind of part of
the
test here. I'm going to go ahead and go on Facebook here so I can see you all. And let's just see here.
Kat, can you look up at Henry?
I can look up at Henry.
Look behind you.
Well, hello. You got a COVID-19 beard and mustache.
Yes, I do.
You just have to refresh it. I can't help you right now.
Oh my gosh, it's good to see you, even if it's virtually.
I can't do 100 things at once, so we just have to wait.
Oh, come on. Yes, you can.
It is.
You can easily do 100.
Hey, Henry, I noticed that you started the hiding place on Facebook.
Yes, I have.
And it's really dope.
So
Kat, you have to look back at us, knowing that, there you go. You look at the camera. That's the ticket.
Is it this one?
No, straight ahead, down the center.
Okay, gotcha. So Henry is behind me, and Henry is a friend of ours. This is not the interview that we're going to be doing this weekend. We're doing a test with Henry because he lives in another house down in Vegas. But anyway, we're making a test out of this. And let me just tell you who Henry is. First of all, he's the only friend I had when I moved to Las Vegas. He started the church, The Hiding Place, with Todd, which so many of you actually know about from reading Todd's book. So Henry and Todd started that church together in LA. Henry was our pastor. He was our, I guess we called, you know what, Henry, I always say that you were like our Joel Osteen for our generation.
Our Joel Osteen.
Yeah, because you were our young and hip minister, which was really awesome. And Henry also was on Knight Rider with me because he married David Hasselhoff's character, Michael Knight, and Stevie, the character I played, on the show. So Henry actually did that.
Now I'll try to help you.
Henry married Todd and I, and Henry is the person that kind of brought Todd and I together. So Henry is very special to us. And so I want to say, hey, Henry, welcome. I'm super glad you're here.
Oh, you know, man. But I'm sorry.
Thank you.
I've got to have the double shot espresso delivered.
I have mine. That's right.
She's got wine, but I got to go for that.
But so Henry, can you hear us okay?
I can, but
It sounds
I
like
can't see anybody.
No.
I'll tell you what. I'll turn
I can't
Henry's
see
camera.
anybody at all. And so I went on the on your live page, and it's like
no, that's delayed. You can't.
I'm getting on there myself, and I'm so happy, everybody out there. I'm sorry that you have to be a part of this test, but it really helps us out a lot.
Yeah, get your glasses on, will you?
I've got. Oh my gosh, we have. I see you. I'm getting on there myself.
So,
all right.
So I'm turning this camera around, Henry, so you could see the stage live.
Okay.
Keep going.
Okay, let me give you some feedback from the viewers.
Yeah.
Okay, Henry is way too loud.
Yeah, somehow I've lost my glasses. This is a tragedy.
They're on the table with me, my love.
Okay, could you?
And then
that could be a serious problem.
Hey, my sister's here. Seth is here. Patty Hughes is here. We have 83 people in the room with us right now. And there's really, and what's amazing is there's not a whole lot going on, and we still have 83 wonderful souls in this room
Henry,
with us.
there's the stage from there.
Up on stage.
But I don't think you just sort of have to, you can't rely on your phone is what it gets down to. All right, so some people said
hey,
Henry
Sasha.
was too
Hello,
loud.
hi, Madia. Debbie Strang. Hey, I want to thank all of you who donated to the GoFundMe that I shared on my page today. And for every one of you that did that, I'm going to send you something special for being so kind.
2.
And wonderful to do that. Joe has the most amazing birds, and he's a bird trainer, and he has bird shows all over the country in zoos and in theme parks, and the birds are treated
Kat,
so
you can't
great.
swing your chair that way. You have to stay more left. There you go.
Okay.
If you look at your phone, you'll see why. You see Henry starts to get too much in your way.
Oh, I see. All right.
That was weird.
Looking good, Henry. I'm looking at you in my iPhone because
I feel like I've got the virus. I look and feel, I don't have it, but I look and feel like it because I just feel out.
so there's a delay here, but that's okay.
There's no delay on hearing him, though, right?
No, I can hear him fine, but there's a delay on the...
Yeah, when you're watching the video
Oh,
through
Christina
Facebook,
Potter, you're so sweet.
you can only use your Facebook phone for comments, not for looking at the video. Otherwise, it'll drive you
Okay,
crazy.
so I am looking at comments. I'm talking to the people.
But Henry doesn't get it. There's no delay, Henry, on your feed. Is that correct? Meaning when
Yes, Brenda, you can. That's going to be up for a
If I look
little
at
while.
I'm okay. If I look at the computer, it's delayed.
You know
right.
what?
You need to be looking at the. See, your eyes are below the camera, so look up. Yep. Now see, there's a lens right there.
Look at you.
There it is.
That's
I know where the
right.
lens is.
There you go.
So how's the sound on everybody's part out there?
It sounds good.
So can you hear okay, Henry, now?
Computer's behind. I can't look at it.
Correct. So you should be listening theoretically to your telephone.
Thanks,
Are we
Sasha.
on your
Thanks,
iPhone?
Kathy.
I'm looking and listening
Thanks,
to my
Nicole.
iPhone now.
Yeah, that's the way to do it because that's the only thing that's going to be real time. The Facebook feed, of course, is delayed by a lot, like 30 seconds or whatever it is.
It does sound good.
So did you explain what we're trying to do here?
Yeah, I did. So we're in the theater, and this is behind the house. This is, like I said, where we do get your fire back or any other corporate things, personal training of any kind, events. So this is where you would be, for example, if you did get your fire back with me. This is just a really cool space. It's a theater that holds about 50 people. And you can't see much of it because all you see is us on the stage right now. But we're going to be doing the interviews we do with people in here. And you're going to be able to see them up there behind me, behind us.
Yep.
And then it seems like it's going okay. Henry, you can hear me all right?
Yeah, I hear you fine.
Oh,
I mean,
this is so great.
There's a little bit of an echo because the phone is over by where the equipment is, and then you're up on a stage. So there's a slight, but it's fine. It's in time.
Oh, that's so fantastic. So if I asked you a question, you're getting it in real time, right?
I think so. Go ahead and ask me something.
Okay. So
You just did. You just asked me a question, so there.
Okay, so here's my question. Did you think Todd and I, before you introduced us to each other, because all that magic happened at your house, not at my house in Las Vegas, your house in Las Vegas, did you think that we were going to connect with each other?
We lost him.
I had absolutely no idea
What's that say?
what was going to happen between the two of you. All I knew is at the time.
Hey, Henry, you paused your video. You must have
You
touched
did?
the button. You just touched your video. Your sound is on, but you paused your video. So it's like a button that you can
see,
hit
this
by
is
accident.
why we're doing checks, why we're
So,
rehearsing. Yeah.
we still hear you, but your video says it's paused.
Now is it okay? No?
Still.
I'm just hanging on a limb for this answer.
I know. Wait a minute. Where in the heck? Let me just call you right back, Henry, if it's confusing.
Hang on a second.
Okay.
There you go. So I think.
Okay.
We're back.
But Henry, just tell me, do you think that was you
That
hit
was
that
my
button?
fault.
Okay, you hit the button by mistake. Cool. Just
That
want to
was
make
my
sure
fault.
it's not us screwing things up like we could be doing,
Yeah.
but we're trying not to.
Maybe somehow we can show the folks what it looks like out there. When
I
we're done.
opened with that, and I can I was just down there doing it
Oh,
again.
no, that's okay. Let's go ahead and test this.
Well, let Henry answer.
Henry, I'm sorry. So the answer to that question.
The answer is...
You want me to answer that?
I do.
Okay, so I had no idea at all what was going on, except that you lived around the corner from me at the time and had just purchased a house, and you were preparing for your first official New York hypnotist show.
Yep.
And we were working on that together.
Yes.
And at the same time that I had met you, or not met you, but I'd re-met you, I was working with Debbie Reynolds, and she had just she had called me and asked me if I would help do the Christmas show.
I'll have to rig this up.
With Joey Singer. And so I was doing that, and I was working with you at the same time, and that's when Todd had called me. We were down in my man cave, and Todd had called me and asked me what I was up to. Well, he knew I was up to the thing with Debbie, but he wanted to find out where I was at, basically. And I told him I was working with you. Can you hear all this?
Yep.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay. So he told me, I told him I was working with you, and he said, well, who's Catherine Hicklin? And I said, oh, well, she was a girl that used to come to the hiding place.
The best part, now you've muted him.
What's that?
You got muted for a second.
No, it's okay.
I was hanging on the edge of my seat.
We're just sorting this out. No problems at all.
Hey, are you muting me again?
We're back.
You're muted.
So, am I back on?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, so he said, who's Catherine Hicklin? And as, of course, I'm talking to him, he's doing what he normally does. He's sitting down with his laptop in his lap, looking up your name and looking up your web page. And he came back to me and he goes, whoa, she's a really gorgeous girl, isn't she? And I went, yeah, she's a very pretty girl. And that was the end of that. And I think we hung up. And then when I hung up, you were sitting with me, and you looked at me and said, who was on the phone? And I said, Todd Fisher. She goes, Fisher? Yeah, I remember Todd Fisher. He used to go to the hiding place, right? And I said, yes. And she said, I think I met him once there. That's what you told me. And so that was gone. That whole conversation, we went on with our hypnotist stuff, and that was the end of that. The next day when you came in, or 2 days later when you came in, might have been longer, you come in, the phone rings, you're sitting next to me, your phone rings, you answer the phone, and you're yakking away for 10, 15 minutes, and I'm scratching my head going, what's going on? Are we working or are we not going to work? And you went, no, we're working, and you're smiling at me, and you finally got off the phone. I had no idea who you were talking to, and I asked you, I said, who was that? And you went, oh, that was Todd. And I went, so there. That's kind of the answer to the whole story, because I had no idea what you guys were up to. And then I think Todd and you had become friends on Facebook.
Hey, Henry, what about when I said, after I spoke to her, I called you back and I said, hey, am I missing something here? Or is this girl like really cool? And you said?
And I said, she's one of us.
That was it right there. Let me tell you, folks.
These are good. This is incredible because this is 10 years ago.
Yeah, but the point is,
and he remembers the answer.
No, I knew he was going to remember that because it was very significant to me because he's only said that a couple of times ever.
Only, yeah.
And it generally was a guy, certainly not a girl. Not to be sexist, but the reality is that no female had made it into the "She's One of Us" club.
Exactly.
Yay! I made it into the club.
Is that true? I'm not missing anything, am I?
Okay, here's what I remember really, really well. When Henry, of course, started to feel the weight of, because we met and it was like instant, right, Henry? It was like two magnets.
Yes.
Right? So we were just smitten immediately. So what happened was you started to feel the weight of responsibility of that because you could see that there's two people that are falling in love, and what if one of them hurts the other one?
Falling in love again.
Do you remember this? And
Yes.
you said, you know what? I'm not going to think too much about that, because you both are adults and good people, and if it doesn't work out, no friendships are going to be ruined. You're both really great people.
Well,
Right,
I told Henry if
And
it
I
didn't
remember
work out,
that-
I would never talk to him again.
But I remember that because it took a lot of the weight and gravity off of me too, you know? I didn't, yeah, because of course when a friend introduces you, so to speak, you're always afraid if it doesn't work out that someone's going to not talk to the other person again, but you know, we never had that. And you really relieved my mind of that, so that was great.
Very good. You have a great memory.
Oh,
of course. You better
memory.
as a mentalist and a hypnotist.
Yeah, I have an incredible memory, unfortunately.
What was your take on that night I rolled up with the motorhome? From your perspective, what did that look like?
You talking to Henry?
I'm sorry.
Oh,
Did you ask me a
I was
question?
talking to you. I'd said, what from your perspective, you know, when I rolled up that night with the motorhome out in front of your house, and I guess Kat came over shortly after. I mean, I don't know what that looked like from your end. I never really asked you. I mean,
I'll tell you what it looked like.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here's what it looked like.
Yippee and I rolled up.
You called up Kat. This is what I remember. You called up Kat and said, I'm coming down to Vegas. At the time, she had, I believe you had sprained your ankle and you were on it.
I was wearing a boot. I had
you had
broken
a boot.
my,
you had a boot on.
Yeah, the top of my foot.
And you had said to me, there is no way that I'm going to see this man right now. No way.
Yeah. I didn't want to meet anybody with my foot in a boot.
So I think I called Todd back and I went, she don't want you to come down because she's got her foot in a boot and she's not in her best, presentation. And I think Todd said to me, he didn't say anything to me. He went, oh yeah, right. And then I think he called you back up, or he called me back up later and said, I'm coming down to see you. And I went, fine. And then I think he called you and said, I'm going to go see Henry, which was around the corner from you.
Yep.
And so either way, Todd got his way. Either way, he got it. And
That's
when he
right.
came here that night, I remember him coming up here, driving up in the front of my house, and this was actually funny. We were both in his motorhome playing guitars, and every time a car came down my street, you could see it in the camera that was in the back of the motorhome, and he would go, "Is that her? Is that her?" And I go, "No, that's not her," because I knew what your car looked like because you'd come here so many times. And I went, "No, that's not her." No, and I kept saying no, and Todd was extremely nervous, and I think you were extremely nervous.
Oh my gosh!
And finally, you came and you drove up and you pulled into my driveway, got out of the car, and as you got out of the car limping, Todd got out of the motorhome, and I'll never forget it. I mean, this is the first time really you guys had ever seen each other.
Ever, yeah.
And you guys gave each other a big, huge, gigantic love hug. And I don't know what happened after that. I don't know if there was a kiss or probably a...
No.
You'll remember
no
that.
Kiss.
No.
There had to be a little wait. There's got to be a little suspense
We're far
on that.
more Victorian than that.
But we went into your house.
Then you went into my house,
Yeah.
and we had a dinner prepared. We had pasta. Neither of you liked tomatoes.
Right.
And,
See, now
you
to
liked
me
tomato
that was
sauce.
the deal. You remember my reaction to that?
What's that?
Remember when she said, "I don't like tomatoes"? You remember my reaction?
Yeah. You didn't either, and it was like a match made in heaven. Tomato heaven.
You know, there's a lot of things that you could say clinch the deal, but the fact that she didn't like raw tomatoes, I mean, that was it. That was it, right?
Cindy Harris, who is out she's our dog groomer and a really good friend. She just said, Henry, I remember everyone at the ranch shocked. And the first question from everyone was, does she like dogs? Isn't that a weird question?
No, because everybody knew Yippee was attached to me.
Oh, yeah. Well,
so really it was more about, because if you couldn't handle the fact that this large Australian Shepherd followed me everywhere, like to the bathroom, I mean, literally everywhere, then that was going to be a deal breaker for you if you didn't like dogs.
Yeah.
But the good news, of course, is that Kat's the ultimate pet lover, so there was absolutely no issue with accepting
Right.
Yippee into
Right.
the clan.
Yep, and I had to get, Cindy just reminded me that I had to get approval from him first. The dog had to approve me. He was the committee.
What was really also funny is we've earlier talked about these RV trips that we took together, and you know, for a couple of years, Yippee had been riding shotgun in the RV because my ex-wife had passed away, so it was just the two of us on long trips, and he rode in the right side in the passenger seat. So when Kat came along and tried to sit in that seat, Yippee was like, "Hey, what's up with this?"
I've been here longer than you, lady.
So it was cool though. Kat was like, "Okay, I can dig that." You know,
Absolutely. I have nothing but reverence for, you know,
no, but you were
that
so gracious
which came
to give
before
him
me.
his space.
Of course.
And then after a little while, he felt bad that you were sitting on the floor.
And he let me sit in the seat. Now, Marty Spicer wants to say hello
Marty.
to you.
Hey, Marty.
He's just saying that he's thinking of all the old days and that you've been on his heart. So good to see you, my friend. And he's thinking about the softball days. You know, I don't know if Marty knows, but your church, The Hiding Place, has just been relaunched. Online on Facebook. What is the name of the page for everybody?
I don't know if I invited him. I need to invite him onto the page.
Right, but the people
Henry,
that are listening, we have a lot of people here.
Why don't you do it from here, Henry, in the theater, and we could...
Well, I don't really do anything live yet, but if I do, this would be the place to do it.
Well, no, it doesn't
right
even
now.
matter if it's live.
Henry is an amazing pastor. You would love to see his work. What is your Facebook page called that you started? Because I see so many people flocked right back to it.
I don't know if people can join though. I think they have to be invited, but it's called The Hiding Place Cyber Space Church.
So those of you who don't have a church,
Now,
The
wait,
Hiding
wait.
Place
So what do you mean you have
Cyberspace.
to-
What they would do is ask to join, and he goes through it, and he lets people join.
So this is a very exclusive church. You can't just come in the door
You can't just get in. No.
You gotta have. You gotta have.
You know what? If people want to join, they can maybe send you their emails, and then I can add them on.
Well, they'll probably send it right to The Hiding Place in a message.
Well, they could. I guess they. Yeah, I guess they could do that and ask for request. You know, to request to join, which is fine.
This is such an exclusive church that nobody can even go without a private invitation from Henry.
Well, this was our church when
There's
when
already
in the
Jesus was
80s.
running around, I don't remember him setting up any churches where he was like, "Sorry, hey, you guys up on that mountain back there, clear that hill. Security, get those people off the hill." It's a private church.
Well,
I'm teasing.
yeah.
No, look,
it's nice
How many
because all
churches
of the
did we
people
go
from
to?
the
Yeah.
old days have joined. There's so many people already that are there that I recognize their names. I mean, it's
I think
so
it's a great idea. In fact, when we first finished this theater, Henry, do you remember me saying, "Hey, why don't we do church here?" Just because. Because it all started kind of in a room not unlike this, a little bigger than this, at DR Studios in North Hollywood. And they didn't really. I mean, it started with a little before that, a Bible study. But I mean, the first building was DR Studios, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. So we were in Studio F, I want to say. And we had
smallest one.
Yeah, and we had the big sound system, and you know, we had amazing music, worship music. It was, I mean, I think that was one of the highlights of the whole thing was the music.
It was wonderful.
Side of it. But it grew very, very quickly. So that would be the downside of doing it here. So the cyber thing, it can grow as big as you want, but you'd have the technology here, you know.
To do a sermon here, yeah.
Yeah, and then we wouldn't be
music
limited.
we could have too.
You can
But I
have
think it's
more
great
than
that you're starting it out. Somebody just asked me, Liz Cochran just asked, how did you come up with the name The Hiding Place?
I got it in a dream/vision, actually. A lot of people thought I copied Corrie ten Boom, who wrote a book called The Hiding Place. But in reality, I had a dream one night, and there was this, in the dream, I saw this little tiny, it was all black, with a little tiny white spot in the middle of my vision. And I went, what in the world? And in my dream, I'm going, what in the world is that white spot? So I started walking toward this white spot, and as I started walking toward the white spot, it got bigger and bigger and bigger, and finally, when I got up to it, it was a hole big enough, maybe as big as a basketball. And I stuck my head through the hole. And on the other side of the hole were all these people. And I said, what is this? And I heard a voice say, these are all the people that don't want to go to church. These are all the people that have no church. These are all the people that will not ever put their foot through a church. These are the people you're going after. And I went, really?
Oh, wow.
And after that, he said, you're going to call the church the hiding place. And I woke up from the dream. And, of course, I thought I was, like, completely whacked out and nuts. And I lived with that for a few days. And another friend of mine named Barry Myers had called me and said he had a dream. And the dream was that something about, like, starting a church. Are you getting that, Henry? And I went, yeah. And he had he said, what are you going to do about it? And I went, I don't know. And we actually went, he said, well, come over to my house. And I went over to his house, and they had a gathering of about, I don't know, 10 or 15 people. And within 2 weeks, you couldn't get into the guys in his living room anymore. And I think Todd showed up. And that's where I knew Todd, but that's where he showed up. And he said, what, you can't stay here. And I went, I know. And I said, I don't know where to go. And he said, come to my mom's studio, and the rest is history. Well, but that's how I got the name. It was actually
right at that same moment, we were. I was doing the first Nightlight show on Trinity Broadcasting.
Yes.
And so I had hooked up with Norval Hayes and all those other people, and so the first actual service that we had at DR Studios in Studio F. Did I announce it on the live on Trinity or something? Because after we did that first show, I went on live, and I think I announced that we were going to do this church. And I said, so, okay, here's the way it works. All of you people out there that are turned off by stained glass windows and preachers screaming and yelling, fire and brimstone and judgmental stuff and people begging for money, all that stuff that's turned you off, anything and everything, come and hang out with us because we're not going to do any of that. And I think that was our creed from the beginning. It was.
Yep. And that was the church that was started in, was it 80? I want to say.
It was about 80.
Yeah, about
1980.
I joined it in 82, I think. I joined the church in 82 in LA. And Todd, you were, that's where I saw you for the first time.
First time
ever I saw your face.
Hey, Kat.
Yeah, baby.
Tell the story about your dad.
Oh my gosh.
Coming.
That's really weird. Well, probably if you've been watching this show, you know that I had, my parents weren't bad people at all. They just were absentee parents. And so I was largely raised by my grandmother.
That camera's going to go live right there.
And so, not a lot of, I sort of self-parented, which prepared me well for adulthood, I would say. Coping skills, right on. And, but my dad, there was no God in our house. We just didn't have that sort of thing. No spirituality, never exposed to it as a kid. I had a longing to know about it, I'd say when I was about maybe 6 or 7. And I always wanted to go to the church down, the building with the pretty stained glass windows, as Todd was just talking about. And I asked what that was, and my grandmother said, well, that's a Presbyterian church. And I said, can I go? And so she would drop me off. I was maybe 7. She would drop me off at the front door, and I would go in there and sit in the front pew. And I know that the minister, I just thought, well, he must really be somebody because he knows God personally, because he was talking about God all the time. And so this was my first exposure to spirituality. And I would wait in the line, at the end of the service and shake his hand, and he would wonder, who does this child belong to? Because I was by myself. So it was really kind of an interesting thing, and I got very excited and turned on by this notion of heaven and God and love and all the things that I was learning there. And I never missed a Sunday. I really loved it. But my dad, who was agnostic, and my mom was raised a Catholic, and most Catholics get so turned off by things that they experience as young people that they want nothing to do with. They want nothing to do with going to church or even hearing anything about that. So, you know, I didn't get a lot of support with that at home, but my dad, being an agnostic, really bothered me as I got older and began to understand everything. I wanted him to believe. I wanted him to be a believer, and I wanted him to know God and know the peace and love that I knew through that wonderful peace that passes all understanding that we talk about. And he just didn't get it. So I didn't want to turn him off and just kind of let that go. So my dad, out of the blue, I don't even know what on earth made it happen, but he came out to Los Angeles, and he wanted to spend time with my brother and I, and you know, we were like, wow, he wants to spend time with us. That was a big deal, you know, for us. So on Sunday, we woke up in the morning and we said, we're going to church. Our church is a really cool place. It's called the Hiding Place, and you know, it's a neat church, a neat pastor. And he said, well, I'll go. And we were just blown away by that because it just was so far out of his wheelhouse, you know. And so we went to church that day, and I was sitting in the middle. It's like 1,200 people or so, right, Henry? It was in the high school auditorium. So I was sitting smack dab in the center, and Henry and his wife were in front of me, and we'd always have music worship before he would go up on the stage. My dad was sitting all the way in the back row. I suspected because at any moment he could make a clean getaway without, you know, anybody really noticing. So Henry turned around for the very first time in a couple of years, or my first time ever. He turned around and he said, would you like to give your testimony today? Oh my gosh, you know, what? It was so daunting to me to think about that. And I said yes, right away. And my dad was there. And so I gave my testimony, which, Henry, you want to explain what a testimony is in case people don't know that. So what's a testimony, would you say?
It's basically what leads up to and the moment you receive God into your life intimately, not religiously,
right,
but spiritually.
Yep.
And that's what I wanted to hear out of Pat.
And how it changed your life.
And how it changed your life, yeah.
So,
all the things.
Right. So that's what I did. I got up and I talked about all of the things, and you know, a lot of things my dad wasn't aware of, and my feelings, and the dance with being in Hollywood and trying to be a Christian, and also the drugs and trying to dance around all this. You know, there was a lot of dancing that is, you know, I was always trying to avoid, but it was hard. And so I talked about all that and more, and things my dad didn't know. So I then sat down and took my seat. Church went on another hour. It was over. I went to find my dad to see if he was okay, and I could not find him anywhere. I thought, oh gosh, he left. And I thought, I wonder if he left before or after my testimony, because I think I talked about my childhood in there. Because that's where all of our damage comes from, you know, is the first, I think, 8 years of our life. We get a lot of collateral damage from those years if things aren't right. So I felt bad that he left, and we never discussed it. I saw him that night. We had dinner. Nobody said anything. I didn't want to make him feel bad for coming to church and leaving, because that's not the point. And then a couple years later, he died. Right, Henry? Is this about right? Yeah. And I was really upset. Really upset. Well, a girl losing her father is bad enough. But in my mind, my dad died without knowing the Lord. And that was hard for me, because I just really had wished that he would been able to get it, you know, what I was getting, and share that with me. So when he died, I was really sad. And a couple of months went by. And Was it Barry? I think maybe. Yeah,
I think it was Barry. Yeah.
It was Barry. So what happened was, and I'll let Henry take over, was that we were talking about this, right? And I was saying, and my brother too, that how sad we were because we had really hoped our dad would know the Lord and left this earth without knowing the Lord, and we didn't know as a result of that what happened with him. And take it from there, Henry.
What's that?
Take it away.
You want me to take it from there?
Yeah. Take it from there.
So you had called Barry, and Barry said, "No, your dad came forward, and I was in the back with him, and he received the Lord in his heart."
Right.
And I think Barry told you that.
Yeah. So what happened was my dad was sitting in the back of the church, and throughout my entire testimony, he was crying like a baby because I think he realized, that he just wasn't there for us, and especially a little girl. And I think that also, I think God came into his heart that day and
right?
absolutely made him,
this is how it should be.
I don't know, feel things he had never allowed himself to feel before. And our family was like that, not warm, fuzzy, touchy, feely. So I think that feeling that you get when God is in charge and taking over and getting into your heart, and all that is so overwhelming in a great way, right, Henry? It's like, is that a great way to describe it?
I think you're
brought to your knees.
Your dad was probably in the back row crying his eyes out through the whole thing.
Yeah,
that's what I think.
Well, that's what I was told because people that I know were sitting right next to him. So then to find out that he walked the walk to the front of the church and accepted the Lord, I mean, here I am thinking, oh, what happened to him? And, to find out in the end that that's what happened. And he never said one word about it. But it made me feel really good. That was a cool story because you go a couple of months.
Good story.
It's a great story because it's a great story that I know my dad will be waiting too on that day, when we go home, right?
Yes, very good. And also, for those that are going, well, wait a minute. She was sitting almost in the front row. Didn't she see him come up?
Not with 1,200 people in a church.
It was a high school auditorium. There was probably like 1,000, 1,200 people in the room. And when we had that call to come forward, there was probably 25, 30, maybe more people. And he could have easily been out of her sight, way on an edge.
Yep.
And then we would escort everybody into a back room where they were prayed for and talked to. So it's very easy to miss him.
Now my brother's saying
what a great story.
It's a true story. So my brother's saying it wasn't Barry because he's aware of who it was. So maybe he'll scroll down and let us know who it was.
I do. It was one of the other guys. What was it like? Not Philip. Maybe it was Philip. Was it Philip?
Could have been Philip. But I just want to mention Mark Usick is here, and he's a really great colleague and a fantastic hypnotist and a fantastic corporate speaker, and he is just, sorry, that was me. He's here, and he was just saying some nice things, so we appreciate you being here, Mark, as we do everybody. And Henry, I'm so excited that you were able to be with us. Is there anything that you want to say to people right now that are...
Hey, I really just last second called Henry and I said, hey, we need to test the system. And, I needed somebody who I could abuse if the thing was going to be a disaster and wouldn't be mad at me. So I figured I'd let Henry be the guinea pig because I wasn't sure if it was going to work. Your connection there on your cell phone is marginal. A couple of times I've seen you freeze a little bit. I know you have a little bit of cell phone issues. Is that true?
Okay. And on my end, if you do this with somebody else, which I think you're going to do, I'm straining sometimes to hear the two of your voices.
Okay.
And that's why I'm going. What did you say?
Yeah.
Because it's a long throw from your voices all the way to the back of the.
Yeah. So what's happening, Henry, is you're listening to us on that little camera. And I can move that camera closer. The camera that he's got on his phone side, is a web camera that's way in the back of the room with all the equipment. So you're hearing us over the PA, is what's happening.
Okay, yeah. So for future reference of doing this with somebody, maybe you can clear that one thing up.
Well, I think maybe
perfect.
I could take the audio directly from the board rather than and feed it into to your
What's
camera.
nice, Henry, is that you're crystal clear on the picture behind us.
Yes. Oh, yes.
You're the whole wall.
I'm crystal clear?
Yeah, you're the whole back wall, so it's really great to...
Well, and then he's inserted.
I can from here I just see a white I just see a big white blank spot. If I look at my computer, which is to my right-hand side, and then you're gonna see my profile.
How does he
You
look?
look good on my phone. How's he look back there? Looks good?
Yeah, you see what's happening is we're on either side of you. You have the Facebook feed on your computer, right?
What I should have done was I should have answered the phone on my computer.
That is
But
true.
I think my computer's delayed.
Well, no, because yes, it is. But what's happening here, for everybody who wants to know what's going on here, is we're using a chat program to get Henry up on the screen here, and then everybody's watching on Facebook, which is a substantial delay. So you can't let whoever you're interviewing even look at the Facebook page because it's too disruptive.
Right.
So they've got to survive. That's why your computer would have been easier for you, because then you would have had a bigger screen, and I could give you'd be able to see that a little. I could make that a little picture bigger too. That's another way. See way up in that corner up there? That's what he's seeing.
Oh, I see.
That white box that you see on your phone, Henry, is you.
By the way, I just want to say that people are saying amazing things right now, and it's a lot, and it's going by really quick. But we've got over 100 people in here right now, live with us, and there'll be a couple thousand people that see this probably in the next few days. That's how it usually pans out for us. But Henry, last night when I was on live, there was one of the people watching, and I always say, "How's everybody doing tonight?" And so one of our watchers, I think her name was Helen, and she said, "I'm depressed." And of course, a lot of people feel that way, but a lot of people are dealing with this very well. So I just thought it would be nice if you had any words for her and people that are feeling that way, and words in general to make people feel good, because that's what you are great at, is giving words. So how about it?
Yeah, depression is a form of fear. And because they're depressed because they're afraid something really bad has happened. And we all know that perfect love, which is actually God, casts out the fear. And the way that I deal with it, are you guys still there?
Yes, we are.
Well, we lost your video, Henry.
No, we're good now, aren't we?
No, look up.
He's good on me.
Look up.
I'm looking. Okay,
you
hold on,
paused
Henry.
your video again, Henry, that's all.
Okay,
You lost video? Okay.
We hear you, though.
Yeah, but...
now what? You still hear me?
Yes,
I hear
we do.
you, but your video paused.
You can still speak. People can
so
hear you.
The way that I deal, first of all, I don't really get depressed. Todd knows me pretty well, and he knows that I'm rarely depressed. But what I do, and I can only speak for myself. I really can't tell people how to get rid of depression. But I wake up every morning, and I'm quiet in the morning, very quiet, and it's me by myself because I wake up really early. And I sit and talk with the Lord every single morning. And we commune. I go into my little secret place, my little closet on the inside, and I sit there and I wait for His presence to fill me up. And He fills me with love and fills me with joy and takes out any kind of weird things that are inside of my system. And I go on the day from there, holding on to His presence. I try as hard as I can to walk in His presence. So I don't really think about my problems as much as, what are you doing, God? What's going on in the world? And I try to have a conversation with Him about it. And His point of view, how is He looking at this virus? How is He looking at all things? I don't really think about my situation and my problem. It's kind of along the scripture that says, seek first the kingdom of heaven and everything will be added unto you. I just kind of seek his face, and I seek hanging out with him and talking with him, and then everything just seems to like fall into place in my life, you know. And so as far as, and I know that might not help the girl that you were talking about, but my suggestion to her is, you know, stay close to God. Are you guys still there?
Yep.
Okay. Stay close to God. Pray intimately with Him. Not a formal prayer, not necessarily the Our Father who art in heaven or any of those kind of prayers, but speak to Him in your heart and talk to Him one-on-one like you would a dear friend, and listen and be quiet and let Him fill you back up. He'll take care of you. He promises that He'll take care of you. So that's my advice.
Right. So
Kat,
someone is just saying.
Kat, I kept you on camera because his video is off.
Oh, that's okay.
Henry, see about trying to unpause your video if you can.
What's that?
There you go. You're back.
Okay.
What did you do to come back, Henry? Did you unpause it, or is your
Agree. I don't know. I touched it because somebody had sent me a note, and it showed up at the top of my my iPhone, and I tried to flick it off with my thumb, and I guess when I flicked it off, it went away.
It killed the video. So you're great. That was
So
a
you're
great
back.
rap, by the way, but we didn't get to see you during the rap. But we got to look at Kat while your words were being spoken.
That's okay, because the
that's
words
still
are
a good thing.
Yeah. So, some Lola, let me see if I can find you what you said. We are depressed because we don't know what we have with the freaking corona. We don't know how long that it will stay, and we don't know what the consequences are. So, you know, that is true. All of that is true. We do not know. But that's where faith comes in, right?
Yes. I watch the news all the time, and as far as I can tell, with what the authority has been saying, the president, et cetera, is that they're seeing a light at the end of this tunnel. I don't think this thing's going to last too much longer.
You want to know something? I had the same feeling come to me today in the car. I was driving back because I had to go to make a quick trip out, and on the way back, I remember having that very same feeling. So isn't that interesting?
So the way I look at this is, if you look at the statistics of all of this is actually a relatively minor event. We lose way more people to conventional influenza flu every single year. We lose way more people to traffic accidents, drug addiction, you name it. But the difference here, the reason why this had to be dealt with this way was because this had a potential, if it was left unchecked, to just ravage. And it did ravage places. New York City, there's big cities that have been ravaged. And I'm not even saying every city has been peaked out, but I do think that it was smart to do what was done to contain this thing. But it is also going to change our consciousness forever.
And I think in a good way.
No, I mean, people are going to be, I have to admit, I was kind of flippant about washing hands. And I would watch her do her show, and she's, you know, basically, when you're doing hypnotism, you know, you're handling all these masses of people, and I used to think that's like some sweaty dude there. I mean, you know, you start thinking about the interaction that you have with society, and if somebody is sick, we generally feel our ability to ward these things off is pretty high.
Oh,
but this was one
wash
none of
my
us had the
hands like
ability
crazy.
to defend.
I mean, between having
There's a
30
fine balance between dealing with the COVID-19 and getting everybody back to work. And the problem with the second part, the getting everybody back to work, is that there's an awful lot of people that are out of work right now, very depressed.
Yeah.
They don't have
no doubt.
They don't have the means to pay their bills, and they're extremely depressed. And that in itself, the fear and the worry of that in itself, makes you more susceptible to any kind of a disease that's going around right now. And I hate to mention it, but suicide. You know, people think that this is the end, and and they need to like really stick it out. It's not the end of anything yet.
Well, you know, my mother was a pretty interesting character in the face of, being humiliated by my father, losing her fortunes multiple times, and very disturbing, destructive financial events, and threatening her children and her family and things that she cared dearly about. And that's where we all are, is we're under assault and under a threat that goes well beyond the idea of catching this disease. As you mentioned, the financial ramifications are as disruptive or as damaging as anything. So the only thing you can do, though, is know that you can overcome all of these things. It can be overcome by hard work in the future. That's how my mother did it. There was no magic bullet. She just, when the going got tough, she just got more going.
Yeah.
She took another show. She took another job. She figured out. Now, it'll be soon where we can all go back to work and we can make all this up. Is the government going to fix everything for all of us? No. In fact, it'll probably make things worse. The government meddles in things and is absolutely the worst at meddling in things. So, yeah, some help is out there, but don't let that be what you count on. Get tough.
Yeah, I remember Anthony Gailey, who is my mentor for being a public speaker, and he he's just such a great man. And he said to me once, he said, if the bottom fell out of your life, and I'm thinking, how many times has that happened? For a lot of us, he said, if you the bottom fell out of your life and you just lost everything, how long do you think it would take you to get back up on your feet? What a great question.
Yep.
And I thought, okay, give me a minute, because I really wanted to think about that and not just give some fast, thoughtless answer. But I thought in my mind that somewhere between 3 and 6 months, my will would push forward, because I'm not.
I thought you were going to say 3 to 6 days, knowing you.
But no, when you think about the bottom falling out.
No, I understand.
But anyway,
but also there's the practical side of that is if the bottom falls out, it's not a question of willpower. It's not a question of faith.
Determination.
It's a question of, but it's faith in action.
Absolutely.
My grandmother had one of her favorite sayings that she swore was a Bible verse, which is, God helps those who help themselves. Now, she swore that was in the Bible.
But it's not.
But it's not. But it took me 20 years to figure that out, because I kept looking for it, because you wouldn't question somebody, a Nazarene, who knew the Bible backwards and forwards, and when they're quoting things like that, I just must have overlooked it somewhere. But no, it's actually in the Benjamin Franklin's Almanac, Poor Richard's Almanac.
I just want to say that people are asking if they're hearing geese.
Geese?
I hear them too.
No, there's actually geese.
No, but it's coming through your computer, isn't it? It's coming through our house and through a speaker somewhere.
Well, what I'll do in the future is turn us off in the PA.
Yeah, so it's probably football, because she's cranky. She wants to go to bed.
There are geese running around outside, only a few feet away. So
yeah,
you
but
also
no,
might be
it's
that.
football.
Or it could be
By
Henry.
the way, we found eggs in their little nests, in football's little nest this morning. So that's what all the squawking has been about that you've been sharing. So there you go. You see, magic is happening.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Eggs.
we can. So Henry, I want to just say I can't be any more happy that we have in our lives you, and that I'd love it if you, maybe when you really, if we put our minds together and you're ready, when you are ready, because I know you're just getting the hiding place off the ground on Facebook, but we could do it even like this. We could,
Yep.
We could have you right here with us,
Right.
on the stage. Or we could do it like this until we feel comfortable.
Well, this is how it started at DR Studios.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to open it up, I think, back then
Wouldn't it be nice while we're all stuck in the house if we could actually have a service to attend, on Sunday here?
Well, it all...
Most people don't have a church.
And I believe, that was a very different time. I mean, I was in early 20s, and it was a different time, but things haven't really completely changed. There are plenty of better churches now than back then. Music is better. Everything is better.
Oh, yeah.
So it wasn't as extreme. Back when Henry and I were brainstorming about how to do the hiding place, even expand it, make it better, the music and the sound equipment and all that. I mean, we were putting on a show as much as we were.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes. The music was second to none.
And that was part of it, though, was to give a great experience. And that also allows God to move through that music. And so if you have all these technical problems and crummy sound and everything else. So the moral of the story, though, is that the conditions today they haven't changed that much in the sense that there's still a great need, for non-judgmental places where people can talk about God and not have to be, buried in all of these rules or buried in all of the traditions. I am still, when I watch TV and I scan around, I'll see that some of these same people on TV, pouring down the fire and brimstone and just in your face begging for money. I mean, it still bothers me. You'd think after all these years I wouldn't care, but it still annoys me because I hate to see people begging in the name of God.
Now, on the other hand, when a church asks for tithing,
that's different.
There's reasons for that.
No, I'm not.
Because it costs money to run a church.
Yeah, but if you want to invest in the church that you go to, it's a different thing than going up on national television and giving out an evangelical type of message and then begging that God needs your money to keep this ministry on the air. I mean, to me, it's still, it still bothers me. I mean, I remember I got on TV and Trinity Broadcasting put me on their, one of their telethons. And I said, well, I'm not sure you really want me on the telethon because, no, we really want you on the telethon. So I said, so the first thing I did, because they want me to ask for money, right? So the first thing I did is I said, first of all, let me just get this clear. God does not need your money. And everybody went, oh, the audience, the crowd, freaks out that I said that. I said, on the other hand, if you want to invest in a show that you relate to, that you like to watch, or you think your friends are going to like to watch, then go ahead and donate money to this network and it'll support this show, or support this network if you like this thing. That's, to me, very different than some of the way this money is being raised. I mean, it's how you do it. And I still say that, yes, God's works need money. But how do God's works get done? Through us. Through you, through him, through a lot of people, through everybody. You're walking down the street, I don't care who you are, and you see something you can fix. Fix it. Right. Because that's how God moves upon the earth.
Indeed. I have a lot of people here who are saying they would really love to have that, Henry, because a lot of people have never belonged to a church, they say, and that they would welcome the fact that if you would do that on Sundays when you are feeling up to it, and you get your hiding place off the ground as you are working on. I see how much you're writing.
Launched, right? Have you launched? You're launched?
Oh, yeah.
What's that?
You're
launched,
writing beautiful things. I read them, and you're just a great orator and a wonderful writer because you speak from the heart.
You're breaking up a little bit.
Okay, well, I'm just loving on you.
She was talking about how fantastic you are. It was totally embarrassing. You would have loved it.
Anyway, I want to say thank you for coming on tonight because we've been on long enough and we're going to let people go.
Well, you're going to do a little giveaway up there. We'll cut Henry loose, though.
Okay, Henry, I want to thank you.
Go
ahead.
We're going to cut you loose.
You're absolutely welcome.
Oh, well, we'll do this again, hopefully some Sunday soon.
I love the both of you. Love the both of you very much, and thank you for having me
on
this thing. And God bless you and the house over there and Dwight and everybody, everybody else.
And tell Jake I miss him.
Love you all.
Okay?
Signing off.
Love you. Bye, Hen.
Bye-bye.
All right. So I just love this because this was a test, and it couldn't have been with anybody that we need more. So I'd say we're getting close to ready to have our guests, which is really great. And I just want to thank everybody for, are we on this camera right here?
Right now we're down the middle. I can put on that camera, though. I'm on 4. Okay. You're live to your left.
Okay. I want to thank everybody for coming tonight, and we will be back. We just needed to work out all the kinks and bugs and things like that.
You want to do it? Let's do a little giveaway before we sign out.
You want to do a giveaway? Then you get your tail feathers up here and let's do a giveaway.
Okay, tail feathers coming your way.
Tail feathers on their way up. All right. I'm so happy that we had Henry tonight. What a great blessing and guest he was. All right, so here you go. What would you like to give away, and what's the question?
Well, I mean, it's nothing. We don't like to go through a show without giving something back to everybody out there. That hopefully you guys are enjoying some of the giveaway stuff. Just like to share our stuff with you, and hopefully it makes you happy.
What are these? These are neat.
Well, so these are pictures that. Hey, Buck, can you see where it says camera 4 up there on the switcher? See in the green, it says 4.
We could end up anywhere.
Hit camera 4.
All right.
Okay, hit camera 4. Do you have a close-up now of that? You got it. So here is, this was, when I was doing my book tour, I had these little pictures made, and these are photographs that I took of Carrie. Some of them are from Star Wars off the set, and some of them are, there's Carrie in her MG car. You seeing those okay, Buck? Yep. Okay. And like there's the picture that's on the cover of the book from Central Park. And so this was like a little giveaway pack. There's a picture of Carrie and Harrison and Mark in a hotel room in London. Here is Carrie traveling in Europe.
These are neat. I've never seen them.
And yeah, here's one of Carrie and my niece Billy, Carrie's daughter. Anyway, there's a little pack of photographs, and they're like postcard things. So I thought, should we give this away on its own, or should we couple it?
I think on its own. That's a really nice.
So it's a fun little thing, and there is a picture I think in there also of me somewhere I could sign the picture, but it says "My Girls."
I don't know if even a Sharpie would work on that.
Yes, it would. It's a standard photograph.
Okay, because it looks slippery.
Okay, so back to camera 2. Should have a 2-shot. Got it.
All right.
Camera 2. So we're going to do that giveaway, but do you want to, how would you like to handle tonight's giveaway?
Let's do numbers.
Numbers.
Yeah. All right. So do I have anything to write on, or?
Well.
Okay.
She's brought
Look who's here.
She's brought the equipment.
Dora.
Come on up. Come on down.
Dora is here.
There she is. You're
All
on camera.
right.
At least your back is on camera.
Thank you. Say hi to the people. Wave back. That's right. Okay. Here we go. All right. So I'm going to think of a number. Oh, good. So we're back there. You want to be able to see what I write?
Camera.
I'm on 2.
If you want to be over
here.
here.
No, I'm okay.
On 2.
Yeah, we'll do camera 4.
Camera 4.
All right. So let's see here.
There you go.
I'm just thinking. Hold on.
It's not a trick question.
All right. All righty. Do we have any more of those by any chance?
Yes, we do.
Okay. All right, good. So I'm thinking of a 2-digit number that's between 50 and 100. That camera's on, so that's right. He's going to take it back there between 50 and 100.
I don't think that's
2 digits between 50 and 100.
We'll see if they get it.
That's right.
Okay, there they go. Watch those cards. She's got it back there.
And can I give one more hint?
What?
Can I give another hint? Mm-mm. They're rough, man. This is a rough room. That's all I'm saying.
You're on 4? Okay, go to 2. We were good, by the way, because that camera was off. Dora, when I walked down, those cameras were off. It was this camera. So we did not see.
No one has gotten it yet.
We didn't show it to everybody, although that mistake could be made, obviously.
No.
Now you can start to give hints.
Okay, hints. Both numbers are odd.
And what was it, between 50 and 100? Is that what it was?
Want me to narrow that down yet?
No, give them a minute.
Okay.
This is the reason why I like the random number game is because you don't have to
Hello,
be
Drew Jameson.
Gifted.
Oh,
like
my
some
gosh.
of the people that watch this are obviously trivia experts.
Okay, who is it?
The first person I see on my computer.
Yes.
Debbie Rouse. All right. Debbie Rouse.
Debbie Rouse.
There
is
you
that
go.
Correct?
So
yeah.
we are
By the
not
way, that's
taking
how
any
we
more
do,
numbers. We're not going to say what it is. We're not going to take any more numbers.
No, but I mean-
And once that stops, we'll
but-
tell you what it is.
We don't want to go, we're not doing research into the wee hours of the morning.
No, I know, that was
You're
really
calling
hard.
the winner,
Okay,
that's
when the
it.
numbers stop, which they should stop because
Yeah.
the number has been reached.
We have reached the number. Now, we could do it one more time because I do have an, well,
No,
let me-
there might be okay, there's 2 people. Okay, we're going to stop now. Absolutely, we're stopping. Okay. So the winners are Debbie Rouse and Kathy Winkler.
okay, so there
Okay.
are 2 packs.
So there are 2 packs going out, and the number was, oh gosh, Eldana, you got in there too late, but the number was 99, so we have the first 2 that came in, and I want to congratulate the winners. And then also, I just want to say thank you again. I'm going to let everybody go. It's
Are
getting
we on
late.
2 or 4?
And we have, oh, we're
Down
on
the middle.
Yeah, so I know we went longer than we wanted to, but thanks for hanging with us. Super happy Henry was here to give us some wisdom, and that's why we do this, right?
Do you want to do one more?
No, we'll do it tomorrow night. We
No,
got to
one
let
more.
people go. Oh, you see how he
One
is?
more. I hate to see people. Okay, go to camera 4. Camera 4. Okay, so we're going to do, if I'm holding that in the right spot, Buck? Good. Looks good. Okay, so we'll do a DVD of Bright Lights. There is the DVD of Bright Lights. There you go. Back to 2.
No, I don't have the paper because I think Todd took it to you. Here she comes again, ladies and gentlemen, Dora.
You know, we're going to do numbers
Here we
because
go.
this gives
Thank
people
you,
a
beautiful.
chance that are not trivia oriented.
Okay.
And Kat's very good at giving out those mind numbers out to all of you.
That's right. So let me just think about this for a second. Let me just, okay, here we go. I got to feel this. Here we go.
See, people are, I see a lot of hearts flying. It means that they like the idea.
They like the
that
numbers game.
That numbers are good because I understand that I give out some very tough questions, and that does narrow it to just certain fanatical, trivial people like myself. However, we're going to try to broaden that out. With this facility, if we could do the show in here more often, we'd
Look
have
at
more
Beth
potential.
Ward. I want this. And Paula Mickle. And Paula, I saw so many of you that donated to the GoFundMe for my friend and his
Yeah, why don't you
birds.
talk about that for a
Well,
second?
I'm going to talk about that more tomorrow night. We had a wonderful turnout of people that donated, and I know a lot of people
if you
can't,
talk
and that
about
is
that
okay.
tomorrow, we could bring him on with his birdies, and he could
Oh,
be on
my God.
And then we could have even a video roll in, and you could have him up on the screen.
Wow,
like we
you're
had
going to
Henry.
get all that going tomorrow?
Yeah, it's all working now. So we've moved out of the Cat Cosmetics office that has limited. It works fine for very simple
no,
stuff.
I love
No,
my
but
little
it's simple.
space.
But this has the ability.
But this is really good for when we have guests.
But you could have roll-ins.
That's
We can
true.
do video roll-ins.
But I really, really love my office
I know you do.
because I'm right with them, and I love that. I
Number-
feel a little detached. in
And the
here
number
still.
is?
Oh, well, okay. So the number is between 1 and 20. Yes, you may. Take this to Miss Dora. Okay. Don't watch out. I don't know what cameras are on. Okay. Go ahead and guess that number between 1 and 20.
4.
Huh?
You're on.
Oh, 4. Okay.
No, I mean camera 4, so you can.
Okay.
Because
But
you don't need to look at me.
okay, no, but I am watching. So it's
You have to watch these
between
numbers.
1 and 20. And I'm going to. We're both watching.
Which whisper? No, don't whisper.
No.
No, because these mics are hot.
Oh my gosh, they're so hot. All right. Not yet. Cheryl, thank you so much. And so are you. We're all awesome, aren't we? We just are just really a good group of people. That's what I love.
It's a fun group.
We all rock. Who is it? Patty Hughes. Patty
Is that it?
Hughes.
16?
Nope.
Oh, it's not.
Let's show it. Bring it
Oh,
up.
is it?
Number
She's
2.
got it. There it is right there.
That's
Patty
right.
Hughes, number 2.
Patty Hughes, number 2. You win bright lights. There you go. All right, everybody. This can
Are we on 4? Hit 4.
We're on 4.
4 is up. There you go.
There
That's
you
what
go,
you
Miss
win.
Patty. You
Let
and
us know
Skippy
if you
enjoy
want
that.
us. If you go private message, if you want me to sign that, or Kat and I both, we could sign the cover for you if you want.
Yeah, and so this, and so look into this camera because we're saying goodnight to everybody.
We're close. Are we both in that shot?
Yes.
Yep.
We're
Okay.
both in there.
Oh, I didn't bring the slippers, but that's okay.
That's
We'll leave it.
okay.
But we could still do the same thing.
There's no place like home, which is a good thing because that's where we all are. We love you guys. Have the best night. Sleep sweet. Sweet dreams. Just relax. There's nothing that we can do or worry about that's going to change anything, so we're just going to relax into it. And we'll see you tomorrow, okay? We love you very, very much. Thank you for coming to be with us tonight.